Good afternoon, learners. We are back here to shed more light in the story, The Ghost by Chimamada Adichie. This story is an interesting one, a story of ghosts, a story of memories that hurt, that haunt people even in the present. These memories are carried from a war that broke out in a town in Nigeria, the Biafran Civil War. This war claimed lives, it claimed property, it made people lose so many things, lost glory. People had jobs, but the jobs were cut off. Others were believed to have died. However, they come back in the story. So the ghosts, the dark memories that come to haunt them. Yeah, looking at the key character, the narrator, Professor Nwoye. After the Biafran War, he had to flee. He had to flee from Nzuka to America for his safety. It is during this war he loses his daughter Zik. He goes to the America in the hope of coming back. He flees to the America with a wife. When he comes back for the first time in 1970, he finds all his property is spoiled, it is in rambles, it is in shambles. We are even told his only piano was missing. So he goes back to the US again. Dark memories. Apart from that, there are also people who are believed to have died and they come back. For instance, we have Nkena Okoro, who when the Biafran War broke, Nkena went back for his manuscript. He is a renowned activist during his time in the university as a lecturer of sociology. So during that war, when the war broke out, he went back for his manuscript and people believed that it was during that time that he died. However, we are now told he meets with the professor and he tells the professor that he actually was not dead. He was evacuated. He was evacuated from the shambles at Zuka. So he managed to escape the war on a Red Cross plane to Sweden. And that is where he stayed all his life, especially when he came to learn that his family was bombed down during an attack in Uluru. I don't know Uru or Olu, that name, yeah? So he chose never to come back. However, he has now come back in the present. He has now come back just to see how life is in Nigeria. And that is where he meets with Professor James Nwoye, who believed that Nkena was dead. So he is also a ghost. He comes back, but he's not dead. He's still alive. Only that people believe that he was a dead person. That is one implication of the title Ghosts. Apart from there, we also have people who died. There's a person who died for real, the wife to Professor. Yeah, that is Ebere. Ebere died 3 years ago. And we are told 3 weeks even after her death, she still visits. The professor says she still visits him during the Harmattan most of the time and helps him to make his beautiful skin, yeah? So ghosts of dead people who come back, yeah? She comes back most of the time during the Harmattans to visit whom? Her husband, Professor Nwoye. Abere, we are told, died. She died. Why? Because of consuming counterfeit drugs that did not help her but killed her. And so this brings very bad memories, very bitter memories. Every time news on counterfeit drugs come, they bring bad memories for whom? The Professor James Nwoye. So when you look at the title, Ghosts, it has 3 implications. Number 1, the dark memories, the bitter memories during the Biafran War, memories of death, of loss of property, lost fame, lost jobs, lost opportunities. yeah, lost lives, lost loved ones, yeah, lost heroes. Like for instance, we are told there was a poet, the poet do I recall his name? There's a poet who died, yeah, and so we see that Nzuka has lost his renowned poet. So you see, it is a story of loss. Number two, it's also a story of people who went and now have come back, who fled for safety, but now have come back. And this is reflected by whom? Kena Okoro, who meets with whom? The professor. And it's there that we learned he actually never died. Yeah? He was airlifted with a Red Cross on a Red Cross plane to Sweden, and it's there that he has been working. His family was killed during the Ur attack, and because of that he has never come back to Nigeria. He has only come back years later, and this is where he meets with whom? The professor. So ghosts. We are also talking of the real ghosts. This is Abere, the professor's wife, Professor James Nwoye's wife, who constantly visits him after dying for 3 years, mostly during the Hamatans. So all these are dark memories. They are dark memories. When you talk of ghosts, that is how relevant the story is. Straight on, we are also going to look at the character, each at a time. The key character here, Professor James Nwoye, who is, first of all, a lecturer at the university. He was once the dean in the maths department, the faculty dean. However, after the war, the Biafran War, this Biafran Civil War broke out, he fled to the US and to the Americas, and it's there that he is now a lecturer. He has been a lecturer for mathematics, and he comes back again. He is also the narrator of this story. So it is through him, the first person narrator, it is through him that we learn some of the events that happened during the Biafran War. So it is here we also learn that he lost his daughter Zing, during the Biafran War. We also learned that he once came back to the country, into Nigeria, and found that his house, his property had been vandalized. And worst of all, he had lost his piano. It is also here we learn that he is a retiree. He's a retiree from the university. He is now 71 years old and has constantly been going to the university bursary in search for his pension, to no avail. So he is among the many retirees who have not yet been paid their dues. So that is it. Maybe you can shed more light. Let us look at more light, more items that can help us understand who Professor Nwoye is. He has also lost his wife. He lost his wife, Abere, 3 years ago, due to consuming counterfeit drugs that have been imported from India and China. So he's a very bitter man. Every time he thinks of the death of his wife, it brings back bad memories. We also learned that while he was in the US, he was able to get a daughter, Nkiru, who has now a grandson and who is now a doctor actually in the US. So as we speak, when he's still in Nigeria, his daughter is at the US. So that is it about Professor James Nwoye, our protagonist or our key character. We would also like to understand the character Nkena Okoro. Nkena Okoro was believed to have died during the Biafran War. When when people were being evacuated, they were evacuating the university. He goes back to take his manuscript and never to be seen again. So people believe he's dead, when actually he didn't die. He says he escaped this war, the Biafran War, on a Red Cross plane to Sweden. We also learned that during his lecturing days, that is before the Biafran War, he was an activist. He used to fight for the rights of the subordinate staff so that they could get good working conditions. Yeah, he decides to stay in Sweden because his family was actually bombed down during the war. Yeah, it was entirely bombed down by a bomb in Ulru. Is it Urulu or Ulu? I don't recall that. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but however, the family died, and so he decided to stay in Sweden and never married again. So he just went for good. So he has just come back to see how life is in Nigeria. He is just alone. So you see the dark memories, the dark ghosts. He has lost his family, he lost everything, and so he decides to go to Sweden to begin a new life. And so he begins his life there. He just comes here for visits. Another character I would like us to delve into is Vincent. Yeah, Vincent was Professor James Noye's driver, yeah, during his time as the faculty dean. Please note, when I talk of a faculty dean, that time before the Biafran War, so he had been his driver. However, this time as speaking in present, in the current, after the war, right now, he is among the many pensioners who have not yet been paid their dues. So he has been reduced to a shoe cobbler. So he is a cobbler at the university, halls, yeah, and it is there that he makes shoes for the university students who seemingly do not even want to pay him. They have taken so long to pay. We are even told that he even looks older than Professor Noye, yet Noye is older than him. Noye is right now 71, and we are being told that the cobbler, Vincent, is in his late 60s, however looks older than Professor. Professor still has his light skin, his smooth skin, as it's said. It is at this time that we come to also realize through him there are other hawkers around who have been beaten with life, yeah? They don't have food. They even ask for bananas from the professor. So we are talking of Vincent, yeah? Vincent is among the many pensioners who have not been paid by the university, and now he has been reduced to a cobbler. He used to work for the professor. He was once his driver, and now that he has finished, he is now looking for his pension money that has not yet been relayed. So he has now been reduced to poverty. He's now working as a cobbler. That is one character. We'll also look at the character Abere. Yeah, Abere is Professor James Noye's wife, the narrator's wife. During her days, we are told she used to give clothes to Vincent's children. They used clothes of her daughters to Vincent's children, so they assumed she was generous at that time. We are also told that she died 3 years ago at the time of speaking, and normally visits her husband, Professor James, is a ghost. So she comes to visit, mostly during the Hamatan as a ghost. And Noe says that at times she comes to massage his beautiful face. We also learn that they evacuated together. They went to the Americas together, and that is where they have been living, and has bore another child for Professor Nkiru. So Nkiru, that's the daughter. Okay, for the minor characters like Nkiru is a professor's second daughter. She now works in the US and is a doctor as speaking, has a grandson who is also learning in the US. And so most of the time the mom used to go to visit to visit her in the US, in the Americas, in America. So these are some of the characters you'd like to shed more light into, to see, to know more. We also learned that Nkiru, while in the US, had trouble getting a job, because people would say because he's an African, getting a job would be a problem. They do not want Africans. So those are some of the many characters you'd like to mingle with and know who carry this story. We have other minor characters. We have the likes of Josephat Udena. Josephat Udena was the chief chancellor, who was once a dancer, a very great dancer, a bold dancer, who has now been promoted to the chief chancellor of the university. And as we speak, not now, he's the first chief chancellor now after the war. But now, during his tenure, we are told it has been marred with a lot of corruption. That, first of all, he had been stealing money from the university, buying branded vehicles with companies that are non-existent. We are even told that during his tenure, there was a lot of favorism, that he would promote people based on his liking. So he really, and apart from that, even the pension money that was supposed to be given to workers, he swindled with the government offices. And that has not changed. Even the next chancellor was worse than him. So there has been a lot of corruption, yeah? Those are some of the characters that would really make sense and would be useful in our analysis. So until next time, let us catch up and look at the synopsis and maybe the themes. Otherwise, I wish you all the best. Have a good day.